Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something that's, really close to home for most of us, local service businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Your plumbers, your landscapers, the HVAC people we call when, things go wrong. And we've got some really interesting notes here that seem to be from a presentation by a guy named Joe Fernette,
Oh,
who runs a company called Land Local Leads. And he really seems to get the challenges these businesses face,
right.
especially in a world that's increasingly dominated by, big online companies and constantly changing technology.
Yeah, it's a tough landscape to navigate. And what's really cool is that Fernette seems to have found this kind of sweet spot between high tech and that
Yeah,
essential human connection. He talks about using these smart systems and automation, but that he really emphasizes that at the end of the day, people do business with people.
I love that.
He even quotes the story brand framework,
Yeah.
which is something we've talked about before.
Yeah, story brand is all about, making your customer the hero and your business the guide. I'm curious to see how that applies to like a plumber or an electrician.
Right, exactly. Because you wouldn't think storytelling would be so important for,
Yeah.
fixing a leaky faucet.
Yeah. But think about it. What if a plumber's website, instead of just listing services,
Oh.
actually told a story about, you know, rescuing homeowners
Uh-huh.
from total plumbing nightmares?
I like it.
Suddenly, they're not just a plumber, they're a trusted problem solver.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all about connecting with customers on that emotional level, building that trust and making them feel like you get their problems.
And a local business, they're really well positioned to do that
Yeah,
because
it's part of the community.
right, they're not some faceless corporation a million miles away.
Right.
Exactly. So speaking of this Joe Fernette, who is this guy and what makes him tick from what I'm reading? He's super passionate about helping these home service pros, your contractors, HVAC techs, electricians, transition from just working in their business to actually running it strategically, which I'm sure resonates with a lot of business owners out there.
Sure. It's so easy to get caught up in that day-to-day grind that
Yeah.
you don't have time to think about the bigger picture.
Right, you're just constantly putting out fires.
Exactly. And, in Fernette's notes, he actually points to some really common frustrations that I've heard before, like wasting time on those dead-end leads
Yeah.
or just the constant juggling act
Yeah.
of operations, customer relationships, and team management.
All at the same time.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
on top of all that, trying to have some semblance of a life outside of work.
Totally. So it sounds like Fernette is trying to help these businesses break free from that kind of chaotic cycle.
It seems like,
And this is where it gets really interesting. He's working on a guide called People, Profit, and Processes, the Local Service Business Playbook.
wow, that's a mouthful.
Right. But it also sounds pretty comprehensive. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it definitely suggests a pretty holistic approach, acknowledging that success isn't just about one thing.
Yeah, let's break it down. First up, you've got people, which seems pretty straightforward. It's about building those genuine relationships with customers that we were just talking about.
Right, and I think it goes beyond that, too.
Yeah.
Because Fernette also seems to emphasize that business owners are people, too.
Oh, that's so important.
It's easy to get lost in the always-on hustle culture, but burnout doesn't help anyone.
Definitely not.
So building those genuine connections, not just with your customers, but also with your team, has to be a top priority.
Okay, so that's people. What about profit? It's not a dirty word.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Profit means you can keep the lights on, pay your employees,
Yeah.
and reinvest in the business to make it even better.
Right. So it looks like for Fernette, profit is all about using systems and automation to drive revenue more predictably.
Yeah, it's about having a solid strategy instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping the phone rings.
Exactly. And then we've got processes, which seems to be all about streamlining operations, creating those repeatable systems that make everything run more smoothly.
I like to think of it as, creating a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. So from handling inquiries to managing invoices, it's about working smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
But before we dive deeper into profit and processes, I'm curious about something. We keep hearing about smart systems, but what exactly are they?
So smart systems can be a lot of different things. It could be something as simple as an appointment scheduling app, or it could be a full-blown customer relationship management CRM software.
Okay, got it.
But the main idea is to automate tasks, track important data, and streamline your workflows.
So it's all about giving you more time for those high-value human interactions that we talked about earlier.
Exactly. It's like having a super efficient assistant who never takes a break.
I love it. Okay, now let's get back to profit. Specifically, how does Fernette suggest using these smart systems to boost revenue?
Well, one of the key areas he focuses on is lead generation. Instead of just relying on word of mouth or those expensive yellow pages ads. Imagine a plumber using online ads targeted at people in their area
Uh,
who are actively searching for things like fix leaky faucet.
so you're reaching potential customers exactly when they need you.
Exactly. It's all about fishing where the fish are already biting.
Love it. Okay, but what happens after someone clicks on that ad or, calls the number?
Well, that's where those smart systems come in again. Fernette is really big on those automated responses, like let's say a potential customer calls, but you're busy with another client and can't answer.
It happens all the time.
Right. So instead of just letting that call go to voicemail,
Huh.
you could have a system that automatically sends a text message that says something like, hey there, thanks for calling. We're currently helping another customer, but we'll text you back within 5 minutes.
Oh, I like that.
It just reassures them that,
Yeah.
their call is important, even if you're up to your elbows and, fixing a toilet.
It's like having a virtual receptionist working 24/7.
Exactly. And it can make a huge difference in terms of not only capturing those leads, but also providing a really positive customer experience.
Okay, so that's one way to use smart systems to increase profit. What else does Fernette recommend?
Well, he also talks a lot about what are called nurture campaigns.
Nurture campaigns.
Yeah, these are basically automated email sequences that provide value to potential customers over time, even if they don't immediately book a job.
Okay, so instead of a hard sell, it's more about like sharing helpful advice and staying top of mind.
Exactly. It's about building that relationship and establishing yourself as, a trusted resource.
I can see how that would be a lot more effective than just bombarding people with salesy messages all the time.
Right. And it can be super effective.
Yeah.
Let's say you're that plumber and you send out an email with, tips on preventing common plumbing problems.
Okay.
And then a month later, someone on your email list starts having trouble with their faucet.
Uh-oh.
Who are they going to call?
Probably the plumber who's been sending them helpful tips all along.
Exactly. So you're not just selling a service. You're providing value.
Yeah.
And building that trust over time.
That's a really smart approach. Okay, so we've covered people and we've touched on profit. Let's move on to processes. We talked about it briefly before, streamlining operations, creating systems. But why is this so crucial for a local service business, especially one that might be used to doing things a certain way for years?
Well, think about it this way. When your processes are haphazard, things inevitably fall through the cracks.
Oh, yeah.
Appointments get missed, invoices get lost, customers get frustrated. But when you have clear, repeatable systems in place, everything just runs more smoothly.
Right. It's like the difference between driving on a bumpy dirt road versus a smooth paved highway.
Exactly. And in Fernette's notes, he emphasizes that this processes piece isn't just about efficiency, it's about freeing up the business owner's time and mental energy.
Okay, so they can focus on the things that really matter, like serving their customers and building those strong relationships.
Exactly. It all ties back together.
It really does.
And another aspect of Fernette's approach that I find really interesting is this idea of turning everyday work into social proof.
Social proof. You mean like bragging about how many toilets you unclogged today?
Well, not exactly bragging,
Yeah.
but more like showcasing your expertise in a way that's authentic and relatable.
Okay, I'm listening.
So imagine a plumber finishes a job
Mm.
and they just snap a quick before and after photo,
Okay.
and then their smart system automatically posts it to their Facebook or Instagram, tagging the location.
Oh, that's smart. So it's relatable, and it shows potential customers what you're capable of.
Exactly. It's way more compelling than some generic stock photo.
Right, because it's
Yeah.
like, hey, this is what we do, and we do it well.
Exactly. And the best part is, it's something they're already doing the work itself. It's just about leveraging technology to amplify it.
I like that. This is making me think about my favorite local bakery. They make the best sourdough bread, but they're not exactly tech savvy. I wonder if some of these ideas could help them reach more people.
I bet they could.
But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that's been kind of weaving through our conversation, the impact on the community. Fernette talks about this local multiplier effect. Can you explain what he means by that?
Sure. So the local multiplier effect is basically the idea that when local businesses thrive, the whole community benefits.
Okay.
Think about it. When you hire a local plumber, they're more likely to spend their earnings at other local businesses.
Right, so the money stays within the community.
Exactly. It creates this ripple effect that supports the local economy.
So it's not just about
Yeah.
one business succeeding in isolation.
Right. It's about creating a stronger local economy as a whole.
And I imagine it also strengthens the social fabric of a community, too.
Absolutely. Local businesses often become gathering places. They sponsor local events. They employ people who live in the area.
Right, they're really invested in the community.
Exactly. They create a sense of place and belonging.
Hearing all this makes me want to go out and support my local businesses even more. But I'm also wondering, what are some of the challenges they face in today's world? I mean, it's not always easy to compete with those big online giants, is it?
It's tough out there for sure.
So how can they compete?
Well, I think what Fernette is saying is, don't try to fight fire with fire.
What do you mean?
You don't need $1 million marketing budget
Yeah.
to reach your ideal customers.
Okay.
You just need to be smart about it
Mm.
and leverage the tools that are available.
And a lot of those tools are actually pretty affordable these days, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There are tons of user-friendly platforms out there
Mm.
that can help these businesses,
Hmm.
automate tasks, manage their online presence, and connect with customers in more meaningful ways.
Yeah, it's like Fernette's giving them this roadmap, showing them how to navigate this new digital world without losing sight of what makes them special.
Right.
That human connection, that local expertise.
And that's something that even the biggest corporations really struggle to replicate.
Yeah, you can't automate genuine care.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see all of this through a new lens. It's not just about supporting local businesses because it's, the right thing to do. It's about recognizing that they
Yeah.
offer something truly valuable that you just can't get from some faceless online retailer.
It's about investing in your community,
Yeah.
building relationships,
Yeah.
creating a more vibrant local economy.
And knowing that your money is staying within your community, supporting your neighbors.
Exactly.
It feels good to be a part of that.
It does.
I think this deep dive has really given me a whole new appreciation for the hard work and dedication of these everyday entrepreneurs who really keep our communities running.
It's easy to take them for granted,
Mm.
but they really do touch our lives in so many ways.
It's so true. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a challenge. Think about those local businesses that you love, the bakery, the hardware store, the family-run restaurant.
Yeah.
What can you do to show your support? And it doesn't have to be some grand gesture. It could be as simple as leaving a positive review online, recommending them to a friend, or just making a conscious effort to shop local whenever possible.
Those small actions can make a real difference.
They really can.
They can help a local business thrive, create jobs, and strengthen your community.
So let's all make a commitment to support those businesses that make our communities unique and vibrant. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.